Hey everyone, welcome back to Bucky's Customs. Hey, back in August of 2020, I received my long mill. I put it together and I made a project for my niece's wedding. She called it a signing board. It has their name on it. As a matter of fact, I did a little bit of it in a video introducing the long mill back in September of 2020, and I'll leave a link to that up here somewhere and you can go check that out. What we're going to do in this video is I've been asked to make a couple more for obviously a couple different people, thankfully, and we're going to get after that. I'm going to show you start to finish how I did it. So stay with us. Hey, before we go any further, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsor, CNC Labs, the makers of the long mill benchtop CNC, just like the one we have here in our shop. Go to their website, cnc.com, and order your mill today. You'll be so happy you did. Now let's get back to this week's project.
Project I do starts with rough cut lumber, 99% of the time. This is oak, various widths. I just put a flat side on with my drum sander, ran it through my planer, and got it to about the same thickness, and then I glued the panel up. Glue ups are pretty standard for me. You know, I start them out on a flat surface. In this case, I'm using the table saw. I just put cardboard down so the glue doesn't drip on it, and it's a good base to do a glue up. I start out with a clamp on the top. I tension that just so that I don't get a bow, and then we tighten everything down. Not so much to push all the glue out, just enough to hold it together. Now once the glue dries, I'll size the panel, and we'll start out with the straight side that I have up against the fence, make it to the correct width, and then we'll do the end grain with a crosscut saw. As you can see here, I'll be lining it up and making a straight edge. It does not have to be a perfect 90, just needs to be close because we're going to make these round in the end anyway. Now here you see me flipping the board around and putting a straight edge on the other side as well. Now the next step is the engraving. In this case, I didn't use the CNC router to carve the letters. I used the CNC laser in order to engrave this board. And you know, I really like the look of being able to engrave. Saves a lot of time down the road. I don't have to do any masking. I don't have to paint the letters. I don't have to worry about letters chipping out, so on and so forth. But you know, pretty easy actually. I created this file in Lightburn. I'll put a link to that in the description below so that you can go check that out. It's nothing fancy. I just picked a font that they liked and do a little typing and it's there. So sorry I didn't do a tutorial on that. I just thought it was so simple that leaving a copy in the description below for you to take a look at would be best. Now here I move the router up. I'm going to do a X, Y, and Z. First we need to put the bit in. We're going to use a 1/4 inch down cut bit. You can see here it's a CNC Labs product. You can go to their store by using the links in the description and get these bits for yourself. Now I am using the original touch block in this case, and what had happened right there is I had the new touch block programmed in G-Sender and had to go change that really quick. But otherwise it made short work of it, and We cut our project to its final circular dimension, which was a little under 24 inches. And again, the long mill worked flawlessly for this.
I used the micrometer to get my depth, put it exactly what micrometer said. It cut in a little bit, but I like it. Came out really good. Let's get this taken out and I'll show you what it looks like. Now, not for nothing, but they wouldn't make bad shelf brackets in your shop. Don't throw away this lumber. What I'm doing here is I'm gonna put the blue tape on, and obviously we want the blue tape to be like in here between these two rails. So that's what I'm going to make sure I focus on. I'm also wanting it to come up a certain distance to help hold it. So we'll run it long. Okay, and then want it to lay flat, and then the other one I had at 17 inches, so we'll just put that one here. Now I know where to put the tape on the mill, because we're gonna go 5 inches up. We'll do 5 inches up. We'll come across this. The holding power is really going to be here. We just want to run it long. Make sure it lays flat. We want it to lay flat. And then this one here, of course, we're going to do the same as we did before. So I'm going to run that one up there. Now the other thing I do is I have it positioned so that it doesn't face, you don't want it to face your glue. That glue's not going to get hard right away until this activator hits it. So put the activator on, and then move that tape measure out of the way, set your corner, your base, and let it fall, and you should be good to go. Hold it for about 5 seconds, and it's solid. Got a little warp in this board, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I fasten these down. So let's go ahead and do that.
And I'm using 1 1/4 coarse thread pocket screws to hold the project down.
One of the best ways I've found to attach any project is with the CA glue. So if you're going to have a situation where your clamps might get in the way, CA glue is the way to go. The only reason I'm drilling through is because both of these boards got a little cup in them. For now, we'll just make sure we screw them down. What we're gonna do now is you notice that my X and my Y were already zeroed out. I have this 90-degree stop here, which places the board in the exact same spot as the other board that I just did. So technically I can use this X and Y coordinate. And if you have multiple projects that you want to do that are the same, you know, like maybe you want to run a batch of 50 charcuterie boards, something like that, and your stock is all the same, you have a 90-degree and you can throw this in there and cut your board out of it, whether they're different boards or not. If you just use the same coordinate, you'll never have to set this X and Y again. You can just go ahead and keep right on cutting. The only thing that might be different is the thickness of your boards. So if that's the same, I would say just go ahead and reuse your starting point zeros for X, Y, and Z and have at it. So in this case, I think I'm gonna do that. We're just not gonna do the X, the Y, or the Z with the touch probe. We're gonna use our same coordinates, and we'll put my antique touch block back, and we're gonna just start this job the way it is. So let's see how it goes.
Now, if you'd like some more information on how to set your origins and what exactly origins can do for you, I did make a video a couple of weeks ago, and it was all about origins, so be sure to check that out.
Okay, so that worked out really well. Let's go ahead and home the machine, get it out of the way, take this out. Now let me explain something to you here. I used a 1/4-inch down cut spiral bit to make these cuts in both these boards. The reason why I use a down cut is because it won't fray the top or splinter the top of your work. It will splinter the bottom, but not so bad because it's against the table. If you don't have a down cut bit and you only have an up cut bit, flip this over and just cut it out on that side so that the bottom, which would be your finished piece part, would not fray. An up cut I would use if I want a clear material and don't really care about the finish. Okay, let's we had successful carves here. It didn't have any issue cutting it out, even though I used my same coordinates that I had from the previous board. So let's get this one out. We're gonna put a chamfer on the edge. We're gonna sand them down, and then I'm gonna clean them up and stain them both, and then let that dry, and we'll put a polyurethane coat on it.
4 more shelf brackets, and we can pry this board up. This tape actually came out a little easier. I didn't put so much glue on there that it soaked through. Try to keep that in mind when you're using CA glue. It will soak through that painter's tape. But all in all, came off pretty clean.
You know, if you told me 2 years ago when I got my long mill that I would be having this much fun, I would have said, no, that thing's not going to give me that much fun. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some headaches. Well, you know what? I did have headaches, but I enjoy this so much. I enjoy the challenge. This was something new to me. Benchtop CNCs and the ability to do stuff like this was something you took it to, you know, like, hey, I got to go find somebody to do this. Well, you know what? Now I can do it in my shop anytime I want, and the limits are endless. Man, I really had so much fun making these projects. I hope that I was able to help you learn a little bit throughout this video, the processes that it takes. Some of these projects take a long time to do. These took me a while to do because I wanted to make sure that they were perfect. They're not, though. Okay? Nothing is ever perfect when we make anything. Sometimes we can think we get pretty close, but you know what? I wanted them as close to perfect as I could, and I think I've achieved that. And I know there's going to be a lot of people looking at them. They're going to be signing them and writing their thoughts about the people that these particular projects are for. Nothing gives me more happiness than to see someone get happiness from what I've made them. So, hey, if you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate everyone's support. I can't thank you enough. And you know what? If you want to know when I post again, just click the notification bell. YouTube will let you know when I post another video. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Be safe out there.